Hi, welcome back to another bike law video. Interesting week last week. We had the budget finally passed up in Albany, and included, as promised by the governor, was his provision to legalize e-bikes in New York after an incredibly lengthy battle amongst the electric bike industry, bike messengers, and a lot of advocates. It's the law that we've all been waiting for. However, it may not be exactly the law we wanted. But I'm going to break this video down over the next couple of days, piece by piece, and we're going to talk about the law, because it also included an amendment about e-scooters as well. So not just e-bikes, but e-scooters. So let's start with the law and what it looks like and how it's all broken down. So to begin with, the first thing they did is they broke down e-bikes into three separate classes: Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. And Class 1 was already kind of legal in New York City. That was the first iteration of city bikes we saw, and those are bikes that are pedal assist bikes but with no throttle. All right, so we're going to break down what an e-bike is in a second, but let's talk about the classes. So Class 1 is a pedal assist bike with no throttle. Class 2 is a throttle assisted bike with a maximum speed of 20 miles per hour. So for those of you that do not know, a throttle is what you would picture to be a throttle on a motorcycle or on a car, but on an e-bike it's typically a thumb throttle that propels the bike without you pedaling, right? So we have Class 1 is pedal assist without the throttle. Class 2 is a throttle assisted bike with a maximum speed of 20 miles an hour. The throttle assisted bikes were also really the bulk of the controversy in New York City, because those were used by delivery men and women. Quite often you saw them with a regular bike frame and a battery and a motor strapped on and a throttle, and you would see cyclists not pedaling. Those were Class 2s. Those seem to be the biggest concern for New York City for some reason. And then finally there's Class 3, which is a throttle power with a maximum speed of up to 25 miles an hour. And that's kind of changing the game a little bit, right? So we have the three separate classes. Now, what's also important is not only were these things finally defined, but we've also amended the vehicle and traffic law now to include them within the vehicle and traffic law. So let's talk a little bit about that. First, we've amended VTL 102-C, which is now called a bicycle with an electrical assist. So let's look at the definition. A bicycle, which is no more than 36 inches wide, and has an electric motor of less than 750 watts, equipped with pedals, meeting the equipment and manufacturing requirements for bicycles adopted by the Consumer Product Safety Commission under 16 CFR Part 1512.1 et seq, and meeting the following requirements of the following three classes. So that's going to be the definition of an e-bike. Basically a bicycle. So it looks like a bicycle, has pedals, and then we're going to define it by Class 1, 2, or 3, as I stated earlier. They also amended the vehicle and traffic law to now include electrical scooters, but I'm going to talk about that on a different day. So we now have the amendment, which includes these three classes of bikes: Class 1, Class 2, Class 3, and the amendment of the vehicle and traffic law, which now includes e-bikes as a vehicle as defined by the vehicle and traffic law, and also included under the section not only 102 of the definition of an e-bike, but also within the definitions of a motor vehicle under section VTL 125. So now included there within as well. So I'm not going to spend too much time today getting into the minutiae of the statute. Tomorrow or the next day, we'll get into the breakdown of the laws that are going to be following and guiding the use of e-bikes in New York and New York City. And then following that, we're going to get into the issues involving e-scooters and how they've been legalized and how you will see those municipalities where they'll be operable, regulating them within their confines. But for now, be well, be safe.